again to another episode, and it's always good to be with you. Now today what we're going to do is cover a little bit of work that I've done about my Volkswagen T3 right over here. But firstly, what I wanted to say is today I'm also recording from Central Australia, and what a golden opportunity I've had to bring this car back from Adelaide to Central Australia, and it did an awesome job getting me up here and also doing some fabulous sightseeing. And I've had a fantastic time putting some clips and pieces together, including some sightseeing that I've done around Cooper Pedy, some sightseeing that I've done around the Western McDonnell Ranges, even throughout the Tillmouth Well region where I'm recording from at the moment. Kilometres into the Tanami track going towards Tillmouth Well, and thought I'd stop and take a couple of pictures and also show you guys a little bit of the scenery that you can expect to see on your way to Tillmouth Well. Over here there's a group of quite interesting ranges that I thought would be useful for everyone to know, which is 180 kilometres northwest of Alice Springs. So yeah, that was right, yes. Okay, anyway, what a great time I've had in Alice Springs. I honestly, thoroughly enjoyed myself over there, and even meeting Sebastian over there, who had his, Synchro T3 was a wonderful experience. I thought I knew everything about the T3 until I met him, and he explained a lot of bits and bobs that I really didn't know, and I've been well briefed about a number of bits and pieces that I now know, and now I've got more confidence in the car. And also, like, when I saw his car, it was just fantastic, just to listen to the Subaru engine start and run, and it was just an amazing feeling. I thought it was a very professional job. His car was very well packaged. Well, what I'll do, I'll just leave it at that. So what we'll do is get into the the episode. So let's go and check it out. Just a couple of things you need to know about being in Port Augusta. You need to know some information about some of the street signs that we have over here. So I've got the GoPro on, and directly in front of me is a large sign that says Air Highway, Short Highway. So we're going to take a right hand turn over here, leave Route 1, and now in the VW T3 we're going to go on Route 87 straight into the Northern Territory from this point. Okay, I've loosened up the pump now, disconnected the main hose lines in the area, taken some hoses off, and I guess what I'm going to do is just give it a bit of a knock, and there you have it. So this pump here is now ready to come out. Okay, so what I did do also, I mentioned before, I put a tray underneath here, and I've collected easily about 6 litres of coolant. This is the Tanami road that's going to take us straight to Tillmouth Well. In addition to this road here, and it'll become a gravel road that leads straight into Halls Creek in Western Australia. And I really wanted to let you guys know a little bit more about my experience going to Tillmouth Well in the Volkswagen T3 today. I've elected to use this car because it's a great camper van and it's great on roads like this, and wanted to share this experience. It's absolutely fabulous. On this piece at the moment, just directly in front of me, the road is narrow, but it will become a little bit wider on various occasions after I researched it up on Google Maps. But never mind, at least it's not completely gravel, because let me tell you something, that my combis do not go on gravel roads under any circumstance.
G'day and welcome to Cooper Petty. My name's Ari, I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. So last night I decided to stay at the Cooper Petty's Mud Hut Hotel, and mud means what it means actually, mud. So the walls are actually, you know, like sturdy mud walls, and they look like they're blocks all, you know, like carefully layered and positioned together to make this amazing motel. I had a tremendous evening here. The staff were warm and friendly, you know, when I booked my accommodation, and I thought that the room was actually adequate, to be honest with you guys. It had a double bed over here, which is where I stayed last night. This one here is more of a room for like a small family or one person. Got a table over here. It even had a spare heater, a TV as well. There was a kettle here, and tea and coffee was also available. Outside they also have a laundry and had a generous shower and toilet just through this area here. So honestly, I can honestly say, like, for a Cooper Petty motel, I was really stoked, you know, with the standard of the room that I stayed in. Now this one here cost me $150, and I'd had it booked from Adelaide, and highly recommend it to anyone who wants to do a transit stop in Cooper Petty. Stay here, freshen up a little bit, and then continue on. So like I am, I'm about to leave the town in about 30 minutes time after I grab some fuel, and I'll be going from here to Marla, you know, straight to Alice Springs. Thank you very much for watching.
Well, g'day guys. Today I'm about to show you one of my favourite things that I have always loved doing in my life, and that is to do an outdoor barbecue, and I'm about to cook some very nice Scotch fillet steaks. So what I'm going to do, I've got to show you that I've got some ingredients over here, and I'm going to quickly marinate them, and prior to doing the marinating of the Scotch fillet steaks, what I've done, I've set up a fire. Like, this is a typical campfire where I've collected some kindling and some wood over here, and I've got myself my spare hot plate that I brought with me in the combi just over there. So today what I'm about to do is get these steaks happening, and let's fire away. So the first thing I want to do is, I've got a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and we're just going to give them a little bit of a drizzle out here. Alright, not too much, give them a little bit of a pat here, and I'm just using the original tray because I'm in the outdoors today. Alright, a little bit more olive oil, and also what I've done today, I've actually brought myself some freshly ground Greek oregano. Okay, so you know, we're going to give the steaks a drizzle of oregano as well, and oh, that is amazing. Okay, so nice freshly ground oregano for that extra flavour that we need. Okay, so there you go. Put the oregano straight onto the meat like that. Okay, let's get ourselves organised. And one final thing too, what we're going to do is, before I put the steaks on the hot plate over here, I'm going to put a little bit of salt, okay, over the steak. Now, how much salt am I going to put on the steak? Not much. Okay, so let's just get a fair amount of salt straight over the meat in this manner that I have done so. So once again, put the olive oil on the meat. We don't put the olive oil directly on the plate, and the reason why we don't want to put the olive oil directly on the plate is because we don't want the meat to stick on the plate, which is just over here. Okay, so I've got myself some heavy duty awesome tongs, and we're about to get fired away and get dinner happening out in the bush. Oh, now how good is that? So the meat just over here on this plate is just sizzling, which is the effect that we wanted to hear from this traditional wood fire out here. There's a couple of things that I needed to probably discuss while I'm cooking my steaks just right over here on the hot plate today. I mentioned before that I'll put a significant amount of salt on the meat, okay, because what I'm going to do is give it the Maillard effect, okay, and what it's going to do is give it the juicy, crispy effect on the other side. As you can see over here, like the meat is actually starting to, you know, get that really nice crusty colour. But there's another couple of things that I thought I'd let you guys know that have made this like a dinner a success. And the first one is obviously, like, you know, this trip wouldn't have been a success if I didn't bring my Volkswagen T3 out here. And that really is, you know, such a great car, and it was a delight to bring it out of here, and I know I'm going to have you know, like a peaceful night's sleep out here. And I just mentioned peaceful, but oh, this piece out here, just check out this lovely view in this direction over here. Oh, isn't this amazing? Alright, and once again, you can only find views like this right here in Central Australia. Now, I have raised this before in my travels that I do to Central Australia. These rigs have a 600 horsepower, you know, like engine in them. There were a couple of additional things that I forgot to mention whilst I was in Alice Springs in my T3. And after I saw the synchro that Sebastian had up there, I was absolutely completely blown away by looking at, you know, how well the car was maintained, and you know, like what was involved in keeping it to that very high standard of his. And one thing that we talked about, like coming to Central Australia, we talked about air conditioning. And we came to the conclusion and realised that air conditioning wasn't such a priority really in these cars. And it brought another thing to my mind, and that's all about fuel economy. Now at the moment, while I drove my T3 up to Central Australia, I copped a big flogging with the petrol prices at this current climate. And in some petrol stations, roadhouses rather, I paid anywhere in the vicinity of around about, it could be, you know, $2.20, $2.30 a litre, which is fairly expensive. And I need to bring this to your attention because the 2.1 litre engine, although it's not the most economical motor to using a T3, but I mean, I must say the engine also offered lots and loads of torque. So in other words, what I wanted to say is when I was cruising at about 80 kilometres per hour going up on a steep incline, the 2.1 litre engine had loads of torque to offer to get this heavy vehicle raised and you know, be able to have the capability of going through a steep incline without very much stress or strain. There's a couple of other things that I forgot to raise that I thought would be important to let you guys know. You're going to notice on my T3 I've got a number of additional antennas, and this is because I'm actually an amateur radio operator and I have a high frequency radio in my car. Thank you for coming back to my call. This is VK5FATS, VK5FATS. So that in the extreme unlikely event that I get into an emergency, even though I have roadside assistance, the assistance that I may need may be outside of range, and a high frequency radio will benefit me quite significantly in case I need a lending hand out in the middle of nowhere because of these vast differences that we travel in. Apart from that, that's probably about all I have to say, and I hope you have taken something on board from this episode because I really enjoyed putting it together for you. Now, one final thing that I did want to say that relates to the Tanami track that I recently travelled on, and that is that I'm going to write to the Western Australian Government and the Northern Territory Government about getting the rest of the road resealed. And I think that would be such a great idea, and I think that would help you guys out as well. Have this enormous opportunity if we all speak up and get it sorted out once and for all, rather than the Australian government spending funds on building warplanes and submarines that aren't so significant. Wouldn't it be such a great idea to have that road open so we can see the Kimberley region and go and visit towns like Halls Creek? Exmouth and Broome that we really love to see and save thousands and thousands of kilometers, you know, in doing so. See you in the next episode.